Hey guys, Harry here, and I'm back with another video today. It's not a bricklaying vlog in the traditional sense. It's a bit of a throwback video. This goes back as far as 2018, some of these clips. This clip you're seeing here is from 2021, but it's about a month before I started the YouTube channel. It's just me doing my second day ever doing pick and dip. And then I've got a video from 2019 of me building a corner on a boundary wall. It was a radius wall, so I was building two big rack backs and then filling in the radius between them. And I've got a video of me just running in a couple of courses of garage on a garage before it got tanked, when I was doing a few footings when I first went on my own. After the couple of labourers I had, I ended up having a labourer, just sort of a guy just out of his time as an apprentice who'd got back into it, working with me. That's probably one of the funnest times I've ever worked, actually. So, and he ended up going to work at the council, and then I had like one of my mates were a labourer for me, and then I had a few health complications and I had to take a couple of months off, so we ended up getting another job, which I was disappointed about. And then this is the latest footage where I was the thinnest, was when I went back working on my own after my mate went to the council. And today I'm just going to talk about the topic of today's video is basically not being afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to try new things. That's going to be the title of the video, and what that means in a sense is trying different methods. And also I'll name the video sort of addressing your weaknesses. So when it comes to bricklaying, if any guys who are watching videos on YouTube about bricklaying, you're pretty interested in it, you're pretty passionate about your job presumably, or else you wouldn't be watching bricklaying videos in your spare time. And probably all of us, watching right now, I want to improve. I want to try and get better. If you're price workers, you want to, try get a bit faster or make a bit of a better job, or maybe earn a bit more money. And if you just work doing private work, or you're doing day work, everything, is a plus. Getting faster, getting neater. In turn, you're going to make more money if you're quicker, no matter what you're doing. Even if you're doing day work, you probably get a higher rate of day work than you would if you were slower. So there's all sorts of reasons why you'd want to improve and try new things, and that's the thing I've been addressing over the last couple of months I've been on this channel. I've been trying new ways of working, traditional pick and dip, and I found out that certain styles of laying suit me better. I found out that some of the things I've said in the past have been wrong, and some of the techniques I've seen being used on sites, I can see a use for all of them now in their own distinct way. And some of the topics I've discussed over the last couple of months on the channel have been really enlightening for myself. Even when I've been discussing them, it's something I've not really thought about until I vocalized it in a video. There's thoughts that you think, until you say them, they don't really become reality. And that's something that I find really therapeutic about making these videos, is being able to voice my thoughts, and then I reflect on them later, what I've said. And because on YouTube these days, with the high levels of censorship, I have to watch all my videos all the way through, edit out, make sure I don't swear excessively, edit out any bad words in a sense. And I just like to rewatch the videos to just make sure I got the message across like I envisioned in my mind, because sometimes I'll think an idea, and it sounds a lot better in my head than it does in reality. So here's me doing a boundary wall. It's a radius panel. This was probably one of the biggest boundary walls I undertook on my, uninterrupted for a while. It was in the middle of winter, as you can see. It was dead cold because I got a fleece on, and it was none of the gangs really wanted to touch it because it was on a radius. But me at the time, I don't think I'd ever really done any radius brickwork before, but I remember what I learnt at college, and first time I did it, I got it spot on, and no one would have ever thought I'd not done it before. But I just remember what I'd learnt at college, which is very rare I actually took anything in when it came to education, but Bricklaying college really sort of, it really got my attention. And on radiuses, you're meant to plumb the same plumb point every time, so you set yourself a plumb point every 4 to 6 bricks, depending on how the level of the radius. You keep plumbing those bricks at those same plumb points. I used to mark them on the wall, and then just follow them around with the joint. Look at your joint, see if they're flush, see if they're lipping, see if they're cutting right. That's how you get a radius. I've never really done one before, but I just knew how to do it in theory. And same with stone. First time I did stone, never really done it before, and I just picked it up. A lot of the time, bricklaying has a lot of transferable skills, and the same when it comes to trying new techniques, new methods, new profile setups. A lot of the time, if you've set one profile up before, you'll be able to set any profile setup up really. There's different techniques I've seen employed on these garden walls. I've seen people clamp bits of timber up to the 4-inch part of the pillar at some 4x1, and then stick the pin in the back of the 4x1 and just run it in, and that works fucking fantastic. I've seen people use it each side of a pillar. So if you've got 2 pillars or a wall, nail a bit of 4x1 into one side, 4x1 into the other, and just run it in course by course. Works great. But I find you have to have the right equipment. That's the biggest thing. So that's one thing I've been working on, when trying new things, buying new bits of equipment. Bought some new F-clamps today. I'm going to buy some Dutch pins, because in my opinion Dutch pins are the most underrated piece of kit. I've seen people use them all the time. They're always that rusty little tool that you never use, and they only come in handy in certain situations. But I tell you what, those Dutch pins, when you use them, they are, like, in the right way, they are really awesome. So I'm going to try out some Dutch pin setups with timber on walls. They're good for your internal jack walls in, when you're setting out your kitchen wall on the ground floor of your house, or your first lift. You call it first lift in the UK, and I think in America you call it the ground floor, and then your first lift's your second floor. I get confused because of a lot of Americanisms that are in common society these days. Even in the UK, people use American terms for things. Sometimes I pronounce the American versions of words just because they're highly used, and people can get them, mixed up. So with all the Hollywood movies and stuff. So so when you're on your first lift and you're setting out your middle walls, or ideally it's your internal walls, those Dutch pins are awesome. Setting up a bit of timber. A lot of the time, if you are quick at building corners, there is a time and a place. Like in a sense, with profiles, which many bricklayers on YouTube have highlighted, there is an art to setting profiles up. You can become quick at them, which I'm trying to get a bit quicker at setting profiles up. It is working out pretty well, and I can see if you get quick at setting profiles up and get used to using profiles, like how to move your line up effectively, how to set them up right the first time, and how to not second guess yourself when setting them up, you can really gain some speed by putting profiles on all the time. And the one thing I don't like is that you neglect your freehand aspect. As you can see me laying here freehand, although it's frog down, which I always used to lay, still nevertheless you can't beat building the corner sometimes. Sometimes it is quicker, but I think there is a bit of an illusion when using profiles. You feel like you're going faster because you're using your lining brickworking all the time, which is obviously faster than building freehand. But you've got to factor in the time it took to prepare the profiles, etc., etc. And also you've got to realise when it's suitable. So I definitely use more profiles in winter than I do summer. I find trying to build corners with wet bricks, terrible. If anyone knows, you're condensing all your wet bricks into one area all of a sudden, because you're stacking. If you're doing like a 6-course corner, you're stacking all the bricks right there, and it only takes a few wet bricks in winter to really fuck your wall up. So that's when profiles become extremely useful. You can use a technique I've got taught by an old bricklayer, by laying all the wet bricks in one course and then the dry bricks in the next, and the wet ones on top of them, dry ones, and the dry ones on top of the wet. So you can basically get rid of all your wet bricks out of a pack. This takes some loading out though, so you need to strategize this. So when you're loading out in winter, which does highly depend on your labourer. Like I come down to talking about labour and help, and people helping you, whoever you're working with, having the same strategy and mindset as yourself. If you have someone loading a load of wet bricks out for you, and you come across the wet ones, just place them on the floor, place them on the stack next to you, and then just pick out the dry ones and place all the wet ones in one stack and say, right, they're for my wet course. And it's easier to do with the perforated bricks, I find, because they have a bigger disparity from being wet to dry, whereas some of the frog bricks, like you can see me using in this video, you can highly see the wet ones outright, and on some frog bricks they all look the same colour. So that's a good technique, stacking all your wet ones, stacking all your dry ones. And if you can get your labourer to do that as he goes, you're just saving loads of time. It's something I've highlighted multiple times, in videos, me getting another labourer. And the reason why it's took me so long, why I'm putting off doing it, is because I really enjoy working with my dad, and I've had loads of people let me down, loads of shit experiences with inexperienced workers, and just people not appreciating what I'm trying to teach them, or not appreciating the opportunity I give them. And it is difficult. It is difficult, when you do work with someone, you're spending 7-8 hours a day with them, 5 days a week, and you've got to be really picky with who you have. I'm a fucking big soft bastard, to be fair. I'm not an arsehole. I couldn't, if I wasn't getting on with someone, I could just fucking ignore them all day and just work away. I'd have to get on with them. And that's the biggest thing with the old man. He's grumpy sometimes. Sometimes he fucking, has little digs at me. But he's my dad at the end of the day. It's pretty stress-free working. And I do like the odd solo day. I find it takes the pressure off, especially on a Friday. Like when I was working on this Friday, apart from management wanting it done yesterday, in effect, that you'll never please them. You're only a number. But when you're working on your own, like on Friday, I earned a good wage for finishing at 12. It was the first time I'd finished at 12 o'clock in a long time. And I just felt it felt like a little bit of a holiday day in a sense. I still came to work, did a little bit of a shift, had everything set up the day before from the old man. It just made the day extremely easy. It felt like just a day off in effect. So like, even though I'd already had a day off this week already, it felt like I'd only worked 3 days, even though I worked 3.5. You just have that break when you're on your own. There's no pressure. You aren't going to make anyone's wage, and that's highly undersold by a lot of bricklayers. That's why a lot of bricklayers won't go 1-on-1, is because of the pressure of earning the labourer's wage. And if something holds you up, like can't get a lift, can't get gobbo, can't get materials, it really throws a spanner in the works. But if you can get over that hump and accept, having good help is really, really, really beneficial to your speed and getting ease of working throughout a week. So anyway guys, a little bit of an off-topic video. Here's a few pictures of the boundary wall and the stone I was laying this week. Some of them are unfinished, but it's just what pictures I snapped. If you enjoyed the video, please like. If you like these throwbacks, give us a subscribe, comment, and let us know what you think. And I've got some more sort of off-topic, non-bricklaying vlog related videos coming out throughout the week. So thanks a lot for watching. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.